via social media, and members of the media. Welcome to the continuation of public meeting number 11 of the parliamentary year 2024-2025 for today, Friday, January 9, 2026. Okay. I would like to give a special welcome to the Honorable Minister of Finance, Ms. Marinka Gums, and her support staff. We have established a quorum of 10 members. Please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. I have received a notice of absence from MP De Wever, and I have received a notice of lateness from MP Peterson and MP Roseburg. Does any other member of Parliament have any notifications? I see MP Arian would like the floor. MP Arian, you have the floor.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Secretary General, honorable colleagues, the Minister of Finance and support staff, and to the people of St. Martin. I'd also like to notify that MP York is on his way. He's late.
Thank you. I see MP Sarah Scott Williams would like the floor. MP Sarah Scott Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Chairman, good morning to you, a good morning to my colleagues, a good morning to the Minister of Finance and her support staff, a good morning to each and everyone this morning. Mr. Chairman, my notification is actually a reflection on yesterday's meeting regarding the CBCS and related matters for which the Minister of Finance was here present in Parliament. The responses regarding the central bank's approach and reactions to the matter of Mullet Bay have left me concerned. Concerned in terms of what I understood from the Minister of Finance yesterday to be a lack of urgency from the side of the CBCS in providing the government of St. Martin with direct responses. So, albeit a notification, no request can be made per se to the minister or to whoever. I do want to sound this concern, and hopefully it will be picked up by the minister and or ministers of because from what we understood in this entire matter of Mullet Bay and court cases, you also have a role for the Minister of Romy to respond, and this is my concern, to respond to the minister's queries regarding Mullet Bay, regarding the zoning, regarding a master plan, regarding sale or not, that those queries and concerns as expressed by the members of government and the minister in particular, that the Central Bank of Curaçao and St. Martin responds to these matters with urgency. I would like to see that happen, and so that then the minister can respond to Parliament with urgency. Again, given the answers that the CBCS has given, I sense a lack of urgency in them responding to government and, by extension, to Parliament. I just wanted to express that concern as I reflected on yesterday's meeting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams. I see MP Duran would like the floor. MP Duran, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning to you, my honorable colleagues, the Honorable Minister of Finance, our support staff, and a special good morning to the people of St. Martin. Mr. Chairman, you know, yesterday left me a bit confused and also disappointed for the mere fact that this is, I think, the third time now that you have sitting ministers in this current government publicly going at each other, Mr. Chairman. Yesterday, we had a Minister of Finance here that basically stated that within the Council of Ministers, documents were leaked before the meeting was even completed. So therefore, there's a big sign of distrust. Mr. Chairman, now we have what the young people would call an open, clear beef among two ministers from the same party. I'm saying all this to say, Mr. Chairman, because every couple of months, when the pressure is turned up, whether from the parliament side or within the council of ministers, the prime minister comes out and say that, people from the opposition or outside forces are trying to bring down the government. Mr. Chairman, the government is trying to bring down the government, and they are clearly shadowboxing with each other. And I'm saying that you are publicly embarrassing the country, by extension, the people of St. Martin, when these things take place. So for me, y'all need to get it together, stop blaming other people, and really sit down and work in the best interest of the people. Because if you ask me, it seems like a lot of personal things and a lot of personal egos are in the mix. And it's definitely in contravention to the oath that we took to serve the people, and it's blocking progress. Thank you for the opportunity, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Duran. I see MP Lewis would like the floor. MP Lewis, you have the floor.
Good morning, Chairman. Good morning, Khifir. Good morning to the Minister of Finance and her support staff. Those in the Tribune, good morning to my honorable colleagues, and most of all to the people of St. Martin. We are looking terrible in the sight of our citizens. It's a shame and disgrace what is being displayed, as my colleague mentioned, in the public's eye. But let's go on to the civil service. It has come to my attention, Mr. Chairman, that the Immigration Department has incompetent leadership at its helm, and at the Admittance Department, that there are gross neglect for the department and bullying and disrespect to the employees. To the Minister of Justice, Mr. Chairman, just know I was greatly victimized by departments I have worked in the Ministry of Justice. I will be sending a letter of my findings to the Honorable Minister of Justice, and I will do every single thing in my power to have those responsible for victimization on their subordinates and those that have the lack of leadership in our departments within the Justice Ministry to be removed permanently. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, MP Lewis. I see MP La Cruz would like the floor. MP La Cruz, you have the floor.
A blessed morning, Mr. Chairman, Khifir, Honorable Minister of Finance, her support staff, my fellow colleagues, those in the Tribune and those listening on social media. Mr. Chairman, a notification first would be that MP Otley is running somewhat late. And number two, I also would like to echo the sentiments of the previous speakers. Mr. Chairman, it is unacceptable what took place yesterday. As a country, we look like a joke again. And I hope that at some point, the leaders of the coalition sit down and either break it up or fix it. Because in the meantime, we all look bad. We all are embarrassed. And the word that was used previously is exactly the word that I would echo: egos. Egos, egos, and egos. There's no country before self with what I saw yesterday. From both sides. From both sides. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP La Cruz, and thank you for your notifications. The agenda point for this meeting is Draft National Ordinance containing rules regarding a basic payment account for consumers. National Ordinance Basic Payment Account. Parliamentary year 2023-2024, 174. Under IS 292-2023-2024, dated the 20th of December, 2023. Parliament received the draft national ordinance containing rules regarding a basic payment account for consumers on December 20th, 2023. A Central Committee meeting was held on January 4th, 2024, on the subject matter in which the members of Parliament posed their questions on the draft national ordinance. The government answered this report with the questions posed with a so-called note following the final report, which was received by Parliament on February 27th, 2025. This public meeting was first convened on April 29th, 2025, at the handling of Agenda Point 2. The Honorable Minister of Finance gave a presentation on the subject. Thereafter, in accordance with the speakers list, members of Parliament were given the opportunity to pose questions to the Minister in the first round. The Minister returned on October 30th, 2025, to answer the questions posed by the members of Parliament. The Minister returned on November 5th, 2025, to provide answers to the questions posed by members of Parliament in the second round. The Minister then returned on December 15th, 2025, to answer questions posed in the second round. Additionally, on September 17th, 2025, Parliament received a memorandum of modification from the government. This memorandum has been forwarded to the members of Parliament and will form part of the draft as submitted by government. It is important to note that during the handling of this draft national ordinance, several amendments have been submitted by members Irian and Westcott Williams. Additionally, one motion was submitted during the second round by member La Cruz. These documents are available on Teams, Parliament's general team. Today's meeting is a continuation of the public meeting which was adjourned on December 15, 2025. Today, the Minister of Finance has returned to Parliament to finalize the clarification round, which included further reactions to the amendments submitted by the members of Parliament. Before I give the floor to the Honourable Minister of Finance, I see that MP Westcott Williams would like to request the floor. MP Westcott Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With your indulgence to make a proposal of order. With your indulgence.
Yes, go ahead, MP.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, as you aptly outlined, we are at a point now where, following some clarifications by the Minister of Finance, especially on the matter of the amendments as proposed, and given the fact that especially the amendments from my colleague MP Irian have been adjusted 3 times, and the latest set we have now received today, the latest amendments. In fact, Mr. Chairman, in introducing my proposal of order, I need to remark that the impression was created from the statement by another member of Parliament that I, with my amendment, had taken over parts of the amendment of my colleague MP Irian, which is permanently untrue. And so, as we are now at this stage of looking at hearing from the minister and looking at the amendments, motion, and the draft law itself, I would want to propose that MP Irian, with all the changes to the amendments he has been proposing, that he be given the opportunity, which he can according to our rules of order, but I would request in this proposal of order that the member of Parliament specifically and concisely outlines the reasons for his amendments, one, and whether they're necessary, the gist, the reason, and whether these amendments are necessary. And I ask of the chair that that opportunity be specifically given. Second part of my proposal of order in handling this topic is that the minister be again specifically asked to address these amendments in their current form and to assure the Parliament that the amendments, all of them, that these amendments will not jeopardize the enactment of the law in any way or fashion. If we can get that assurance from the minister, and that none of these amendments infringe on the independence of the financial institutions involved in this law. So if we can have that direct indication on the first hand from the proposal of the amendments, MP Irian, and from the minister regarding these amendments, I think we all as members of Parliament would have a better feel, and I speak for myself, going into the voting on these proposals, because it has become, sorry to say, somewhat murky in terms of all of these amendments before the members of Parliament. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My proposal of order that those 2 matters be dealt with. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams. Is there any objections from the members of parliament as it pertains to the two proposals? I don't see any. Okay. I hereby adjourn for 2 minutes. Meeting adjourned for 2 minutes. come back after short deliberation, short break. At this time, seeing that we do have two proposal orders, that there were no objections, I would like to now give the floor to the Minister of Finance to also keep in mind with her answers the proposal. And after the minister goes, then we'll go over to the other proposal that the MP will give the opportunity to clarify his amendment. Yeah? So, Honorable Minister, you have the floor.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, honorable members of Parliament, persons in the public tribune, my dedicated support staff, radio and social media viewers, all under the sound of my voice. Good morning and blessed day to all. Mr. Chairman, thank you for allowing me to give my final feedback on proposed amendments of both MP Arian and MP Westcott Williams. The retraction of IS 538-25-26 of January 9th, 2026, retracting the previous proposed amendments IS 434 and IS 435. I support these retractions. The amendment IS 539-25-26 of January 9th, 2026, the proposed amendment is proposing for 1, paying service providers insofar as they also offer this service to holders of regular payment accounts, offer the option of managing the basic payment account digitally, and 2, payment service providers ensure that insofar as this also applies to regular payment accounts, core transactions relating to the basic payment account can be performed digitally. The title of the amendment was adjusted, and the article are numbered in a more logical order, as indicated in my previous feedback sent to Parliament on December 15th, 2025. However, the substance of MP Arian's amendment will be better fitting addressed under 2 draft national ordinances that are on its way to Parliament, if not yet arrived already. The National Ordinance on the Supervision of Payment Service Providers and the National Ordinance on Oversight of Payment and Securities Transactions. Together, these draft laws focus on equal access to financial services, the protection of account holders, and the modernization and digitalization of payment systems without making distinctions between different categories of account holders. So, the underlying principles regarding digital accessibility are addressed in the draft National Ordinance on the Supervision of Payment Service Providers, which are or will be submitted to Parliament shortly. Furthermore, the current draft National Ordinance Basic Payment Account already obliges payment service providers to offer the same services under a basic payment account as those offered to holders of regular payment accounts, thereby safeguarding equality between account holders. As such, this proposed amendment is redundant and cannot carry my support. Number 3, the amendment of IS 540-25-26 of January 9, 2026. The proposed amendment is proposing to 1, add the word onverwijld to Article 4, second paragraph. Point 2, add Article 4, second paragraph to Article 5, fourth paragraph. And number 3, add a new Article 6A indicating an obligation for the payment service providers to report yearly to the Minister of Finance on the basic payment account. This amendment is an added value to the draft National Ordinance Basic Payment Account, as it is proposed to onverwijld urgent provide the reasons for denying or terminate a basic payment account and introduces the yearly reporting obligation. As such, I support this amendment. Mr. Chair, I now move on to feedback on proposed amendment by MP Westcott Williams. The amendment IS 243-25-26 of October 29, 2025 of MP Westcott Williams. This amendment proposed to amend Article 2, 8th paragraph of the draft National Ordinance Basic Payment Account by deleting the word zichtbaar. This paragraph stipulated that no visual distinction can be made between holder of a regular bank account and holders of a basic bank account, for example, to provide different bank cards, etc. By deleting the word zichtbaar, visual, it is stronger reflected that no difference can be made between holder of a regular bank account and holders of a basic bank account. I strongly support this amendment. These amendments, which have my support, are in line with the feedback of the central bank and do not conflict each other, and as such will not jeopardize the enactment of the draft National Ordinance Basic Payment Account, nor the execution of this national ordinance. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Honourable Minister. I see MP Duran. You have proposal order. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Also, thank you, Minister, for the brief explanation. Mr. Chairman, I carry the proposal of MP Westcott in terms of MP Irian doing the explanation, but in that same spirit, I would also like if the Minister and or MP Westcott then could elucidate on the feedback given from the central bank based on the amendment that is in line with the amendment of MP Westcott. So the advice that was given from the central bank, because we have tens of thousands of people that this is going to affect, our citizens, and I think it's important for them to have every nitty-gritty detail. I don't know if the proposal is clear, or you need me to repeat, because you seem a bit...
Please repeat it one more time.
Okay, no problem. I'll repeat it, Mr. Chairman. Given the fact that MP Irian is going to give an elucidation on his amendments based on the two different changes that were made, I would also, in that same spirit, suggest that MP Westcott also explain her amendment, because I know that there was feedback given from the central bank based on that amendment that was proposed by her. And also, the facts be given in terms of the central bank advice, because I heard the minister said that she is fully in agreement with it and the central bank agrees with it. That's not what I read. So I would like for some clarification there, because that is the reason that it prompted me to bring this proposal of order.
Okay, I see we have an interruption. MP Westcott Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I approach this lectern because I am not sure where we're going with these matters of a proposal of order with respect to the topic under handling, which is in handling. So now you got a proposal from me with respect to that topic, and now we have a member of parliament that is now going to propose that another member of parliament or the minister defends his or her statement or amendment. I was pretty clear, and the minister, in my opinion, was pretty clear, Mr. Chairman, regarding my amendment. And don't let us confuse things here. My amendment is as clear and concise as can be. The word zichtbaar, which is mentioned in the proposed law we have before us now, and my proposal was, firstly, my question was to the minister, why is this mentioned in such a fashion? And secondly, why is it not mentioned the same thing in the law of Curaçao that was passed and that was also commented on by the central bank? So don't let us confuse matters here. The minister explained, one, my proposed draft amendment, and in the interest of time and this law, I have absolutely no problem, because as I mentioned before, this matter is becoming too murky, and when we are insisting on an amendment just to say we have an amendment to the law, things are really kind of getting a little, let me use the word murky here. And in the interest of clarity, I don't mind pulling in my amendment. But then let's make sure that we understand what's happening here, and let's understand what the minister is saying about all the amendments before her today, which she has just done. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams. And I think based on the comments that were made, MP Westcott Williams pretty much already answered MP Duran. And seeing that the minister finished her statements, the deliberation is pretty much finished, so a proposal of order cannot be put in motion right now. Yeah? So, MP Duran, I see you have the floor for interruption. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Because I did. Oh, so. MP Duran.
Mr. Chairman, I think the mic is off. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I mean, I see it, I know I could feel all the emotions in the room, but I think my proposal was pretty clear. The minister just mentioned that the central bank is fully in alignment with all amendments. That was not what I read. The public of St. Martin are not, they are not privy to the central bank advice. So therefore, I ask if, since the proposal was made by a member of parliament to ask another member of parliament to explain something, which I've never seen before, which is not an issue, I asked if everything could be explained for public consumption. Because the minister mentioned that the central bank agrees with both amendments, which is not true based on what I read. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MP Duran, for that. But as I previously mentioned already as well, that a point of order can only be put if the deliberations are not final. And seeing that the minister already finished her presentation, and therefore the deliberations are finished, so the proposal of order had to come before. So based on that, and seeing that MP Westcott actually already did answer what you requested. So I now give the floor to MP Arian based on the proposal of order that was submitted. MP Arian, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Minister, for the explanations and the feedback. To be clear, the process started with an amendment, well, I'll say even 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when the law was submitted to Parliament. At that time, MP Duran and myself were ministers, and the idea at that time was to get the legislation in as fast as possible so you'd be able to open basic bank accounts, and after that, whatever necessary change we would make as a government at that time, we'll come back and make further amendments. Seeing as I'm no longer minister, we decided to still continue the process as an MP and continue to make amendments, and we'll continue to make amendments as the law is, when the law is ratified and where necessary. The two amendments that have been submitted, they do not change the core idea of the law. They do something just as important, though. They make sure the law works in practice fairly, transparently, and in today's digital reality. As I mentioned before, I even saw in the Prime Minister's statement for the new year that digital transformation is the key for St. Martin going forward, and we are now, I am trying to make sure that our laws are in line with our vision. The first amendment focuses on clarity and fairness. So under that draft law, a person can apply for a basic bank account, but when the application is refused, which can happen, people often will experience delay, etc. This amendment makes two things clear. A refusal must be communicated immediately, and the reason for refusal must be given in writing, because too many times banks make decisions and individuals don't even know why the bank made a decision, and they have no power to say, hey, but why does this happen, etc. So now we're putting more power in the people's hand. It also protects the consumers. It also protects the banks. It creates a legal clarity and consistency and trust. So no more guessing, no more silence, etc. Yes, and continuing in the First Amendment, it also introduces an annual reporting to the Minister of Finance to the central bank, which I think is important, as the minister is also a political figure. And at times, all of us in here as MPs, we get persons coming to us complaining about certain things. But now we have power now too, because now the minister could say, hey, bank, we see all these refusals here. We don't agree with these things. And now the minister also has the power to go back and say, hey, based on the data that we have here, we now will amend this law further because of the actual data that we have on these complaints. Or when the minister reports to Parliament, Parliament could decide, hey, this is going around me because we have this basic bank account law, but we had 1,000 applications, 900 were denied, and so the law doesn't even make sense. We don't have that now currently in the law. So now it allows the actual public figures, right, that are in charge of the people to say, hey, we have the data now, we'll now go back and fix it. And then when it comes to the Second Amendment, as the minister mentioned that she cannot support, or the government cannot support, because a law is on its way. The second amendment is a basic banking amendment when it comes to upgrading the law digitally. It means, and I said this already, that everything that you could do physically, and I don't get what's so difficult for this law to be accepted, everything that I can do in the physical bank, I'm saying now, I would like to be able to digitally. It's in line with the government's vision of digital transformation. So I don't get why that support can't be there. And just to clarify what MP Doran said, what the minister said, because that was also not clear to me. The minister said that the central bank is also in line with the other amendment for MP Westcott. And I don't see, and MP Doran said that too, because he asked me, hey, but I didn't see that document come in. I said, no, I didn't see that either. There isn't any documentation from the central bank giving feedback on the amendment, and that's a fact. But there is feedback from the central bank based on one of my amendments, which was similar, and it was not, and it was negative. So that's what he's basically saying. We would like clarity from the minister on those things, because the minister clearly said it was feedback given from the central bank, which was either maybe the minister misspoke or didn't realize what she said. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Irian, for that elaboration, explanation on the two amendments. We have come to the end of, well, this agenda already, and there were a motion presented, and there were two amendments, well, three amendments have been submitted. We will now go over to voting on these. Yeah? Okay. So we'll adjourn for 2 minutes before we start the voting. Meeting adjourned, 2 minutes. Welcome back to this continuation of the meeting. We took a few minutes break to be able to make sure that all the paperwork is in order to have the voting done. I see there was one motion presented by MP La Cruz. So before we go over to the voting, I will now read the motion. It states, the Parliament of St. Martin, in its meeting of October 30th, 2025, considering that access to a basic payment account, basisbetaalrekening, is essential to ensure the financial and social participation of all residents of St. Martin, particularly the unbanked and low-income groups, in line with the principles of fairness and inclusion. That the cost of living in St. Martin is notably higher than in Curacao, with 2025 economic data showing that core household expenses, including rent, utilities, and groceries, are between 40% and 100% higher in St. Martin. That the Central Bank of Curacao and St. Martin, CBCS, have set the maximum monthly deposit limit for the basic payment account in Curacao to 3,000 Caribbean guilders, which was established primarily for risk management reasons and based on average income levels in Curacao. That applying the same 3,000 Caribbean guilders limit to St. Martin disregards local cost of living realities and constrains residents' ability to utilize the basic banking services for monthly income and essential expenses. That in most jurisdictions, the monthly deposit cap for basic payment accounts is determined to reflect at least 2 to 3 months of average living expenses. St. Martin's current limit falls well below this standard and therefore does not support fair financial access or inclusion. That practical experiences with market vendors who commonly operate with only a vending permit and lack traditional business licenses show the true scale of the issue. A typical market vendor spends about 540 Caribbean guilders per month on transport and storage of goods and aims for a basic salary of 1,800 Caribbean guilders to generate just a modest 30% profit. Total turnover must reach up to 7,800 guilders each month. Even the proposed 5,400 Caribbean guilders deposit cap is already a compromise as it is below the real monthly turnover that many vendors require, while the current cap of 3,000 guilders is drastically inadequate. With limits set this low, vendors will continue to be forced to hide part of their sales outside the banking system, defeating the goal of genuine financial inclusion. That leaving the current cap unchanged would continue to exclude many working residents from access to safe and affordable banking services and would, contrary to the national goal of promoting financial inclusion across all sectors of society. That multiple stakeholders, including CBCS, the domestic banking sector, consumer advocates, small business organizations, and members of the public are all directly affected by the fairness and practical accessibility of the basic payment account arrangement. That pursuant to Article 2, Paragraph 60B of the Draft National Ordinance on Basic Payment Accounts, the authority to revise the deposit cap rests with the CBCS through general binding regulation. That Parliament has both the duty and the authority to advocate for policy adjustment that reflects St. Martin's socio-economic reality and promote fair access for all citizens. Resolves that the Parliament of St. Martin respectfully requests the government, through the Minister of Finance, to formally advocate with the Central Bank of Curacao and St. Martin that the maximum monthly deposit limit for the basic payment account in St. Martin be raised to at least 5,400 Caribbean guilders per month. This amount reflects the current cost of living, the cash flow requirements of the local workforce, and international standards for practical banking inclusion. That the government, in its advocacy, make use of available cost of living information and relevant local data, together with the consultation from local banks, informal business associations, and consumer representatives to substantiate and support the proposed adjustments with factual evidence. That the Parliament of St. Martin is provided within 2 months with a detailed progress report, including actions taken to initiate the formal request, feedback received from CBCS and associated stakeholders, the anticipated decision process and implementation timeline for revising the deposit cap, that subsequent periodic reviews of the deposit cap be conducted at least annually, ensuring Parliament and the public are duly informed of findings, recommendations presented publicly, and any proposed future adjustments to maintain and ensure transparency, fairness, and continuous alignment with St. Martin's evolving economic conditions, and goes over to the order of the day. Copies to the Government of St. Martin, the Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank of Curacao and St. Martin. This motion was supported by MP Francisco La Cruz, MP Otley, MP Lewis, MP Kotai, MP Roseburg, MP Wever, MP Westcott Williams, MP Adwell, MP La Vega, MP York, MP Duran, MP Veronica Janssen-Webster, and I don't think I left anyone out. Yeah. So we now go over to the voting on this motion. Motion number 1. Does anyone wish to call for vote on motion? Roll call. Yeah, sorry. Roll call. Yes, I see there's a need. And then to whom can I give the floor for the motivation of their vote? Each member has the opportunity to motivate his or her vote briefly and concisely. I see MP Westcott Williams would like the floor. MP Westcott Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as you rightfully indicated, I am one of the supporters of the handling of this motion. That is what the support and the signing of a motion entail. However, this proposed motion has been deliberated by the submitter of the motion. I was part of those deliberations, and my vote for the content of the motion will be in favor of the motion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Westcott Williams. I don't see any other MP wishing to have the floor, so we go over to the voting. We start with number 17. Can the clerk... Oh, number 11, sorry. Number 11, can the clerk read out the name of the member?
MP Shamira Roseburg. MP Sarah Westcott Williams.
For.
MP Darrell York.
For.
MP Egbert Duran.
For.
MP Artwell Irian.
For.
MP Veronica Janssen-Webster.
For.
MP Viren Kotai.
For.
MP Demar La Vega.
For.
MP Francisco La Cruz.
For.
MP Lyndon Lewis.
For.
MP Franklin Myers.
For.
MP Omar Otley.
For.
Chairman Christopher Wafer.
For. The results of the vote is 13 for, 0 against. Motion 1 is accepted. We hereby adjourn for 1 minute to get the documents ready for the voting for the amendments. Meeting adjourned. Good morning once again and welcome back as we continue with the voting on the amendments that were presented. Our first amendment was submitted by MP Sarah Westcott-Williams on the 29th of October 2025. Aanbieding van gewijzigd amendment on the IS 243. According to Article 59, Paragraph 2 of the Rules of Order, the amendment must be supported by at least another member for it to be handled. Does any other member support this amendment? Okay. I see it has the support of the members. We now go over to the voting on the amendment. Does anybody wish to have roll call vote? I see there's a need. To whom can I give the floor for the motivation of their vote? Each member has the opportunity to motivate his or her vote briefly and concisely. I see MP Duran would like the floor. MP Duran, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, the central bank is against this amendment because their concern is the legal certainty. They prefer to keep the existing wording zichtbaar onderscheid because it specifically targets visible stigmatization differences to avoid creating a broad equality clause that could interfere with the AML, which is the anti-money laundering, or the supervisory obligations. In their view, the intent is already clear from the Memorie van Toelichting, and changing the wording could create unnecessary legal risks. Hence, I cannot support this amendment.
Thank you, MP Duran. I see MP Westcott-Williams would like the floor. MP Westcott-Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, via the Minister of Finance, the Central Bank of Curaçao and St. Martin has left in the middle why this particular word does not appear in the legislation of Curaçao that also covers a basic bank account. One. Secondly, what the central bank has concretely said is that one of the amendments proposed by my colleague MP Irian actually erases my amendment. So because it has not been answered why St. Martin must have that word in it and not Curaçao, I am still in complete support of my own amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Westcott-Williams. I see MP Irian would like the floor. MP Irian, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, and based on the last two discussions by both MPs, I think this is why it was important for the minister to send all the amendments to the central bank so we have unbiased feedback. And again, the minister said, not alone in this meeting, but also in other prior meetings, I cannot support a specific amendment or law because the central bank does not agree. So when is it okay then to continue with the central bank's advice or not? It becomes very subjective. There's not a hard line or stance by the minister and the government. And in this case, because following in line with the ministers, the reason why the minister does not support my second amendment, she said, because it's overboard based on the central bank and their negative advice, seemingly. So again, keeping in line with the minister on this topic and her initial feedback, I can't support currently.
Thank you, MP Irian. I see MP Utley would like the floor. MP Utley, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chairman, I am stuck in the middle because it wasn't too long that I sat right over there and everyone was asking and had condescending comments based on feedback from an advisory body. What's good for the goose has to be good for the gander. It can't be sometimes. And it's interesting, and it's going to be very interesting to see how some of these members here in Parliament will set their vote, because I was of a different opinion until the MP specifically showed me directly, verbatim, word for word, what the central bank said based on this amendment. And the central bank is against it. And based on the minister's previous comments, that she would not support anything that the central bank is against, it really has me on the fence. But I will reserve that right to vote when the voting comes. But it's going to be very interesting to see what the other MPs are going to say.
Thank you, MP Utley. I see MP Roseburg would like the floor. MP Roseburg, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In regards to voting, in regards to amendments, I do believe that we as members of parliament, we have seen several advisory bodies give their view. At the end, our vote needs to be our vote. Our vote needs to be on our conscience, knowing, reading the law, knowing how you feel about it, doing your own research. I believe in uniformity, but sometimes I do also believe in if other country is not there yet, we can set the trend. So I will be voting based on my conscience and not based on, I will take the advices of every institution into mind, but at the end, it's the vote of me as an MP that will count and will set the trend, and that's how I will be voting today. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Roseburg. I don't see any other MPs needing the floor at this time, so we can go over to the voting. We start with number 3. Can the clerk read out the name of the members, please?
MP Artwell Arian.
Against.
MP Veronica Jansen-Webster.
For.
MP Viren Kotai. MP Dimar La Vega. MP Francisco La Cruz.
For.
MP Lyndon Lewis.
For.
MP Franklin Myers.
For.
MP Omar Otley.
Against.
MP Shamira Roseburg.
For.
MP Sarah Westcott Williams.
For.
MP Darrell York.
Against.
MP Egbert Duran.
Against.
Chairman Christopher Wafer.
For. The results of the voting are 9 votes for, 4 votes against. This amendment is accepted. We now go over to the following amendment, which was submitted today by MP Arian. This amendment is found on the IS 539 regarding the digital inclusion for basic bank account. Is there a need for hoofdelijke stemming? Yes, I see. I see there's a need. To who can I give the floor for motivation of their vote? Each member has an opportunity to motivate their vote. I see MP La Cruz would like the floor. MP La Cruz, you have the floor. No? Okay. I see there's no need for motivation at this time, so we can go directly to the... Yeah? Oh, I see MP Roseburg would like the floor. MP Roseburg, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. As I mentioned previously, how I look at amendments is the following. When you have an amendment, I believe you need to look, and maybe I'm doing it with my legal hat on, looking at, okay, what do we currently have? What is the amendment about? And what can we foresee in the future? Often we see that legislation is delayed. We have seen that legislation can take a while. And often it's also the case that legislation, as long as it doesn't contradict future legislation, it can be beneficial. I would like to avoid, which we have seen, where legislation can take years and then other groups might fall behind. I always would like to avoid that from happening. And when I read the current amendment that we're talking about and read how that amendment was adjusted to make sure if this happens, then that will happen. If it's the case for this group, then it should be the case for the other group as well in regards to digitalisering, I do believe that that provides a gap, or it provides, gap is not the correct word, it provides a connection where I believe that in regards to digitalization, no group should fall behind. And not because I understood that the central bank mentioned, yes, it will be handled in a different law. But then when I look at the law, often you see that in several laws, the same things are being handled. So then I'm asking myself, what is the objection, for example, if it's handled in a certain law, that will be handled in the other law as well? Is there a legal issue with that? And I haven't seen that legal issue. There is no issue legally, in my opinion, when two laws similarly saying the same, and especially when in the future, it was mentioned this law will be brought forward. It hasn't reached Parliament as yet. When it reaches Parliament, there will be deliberation on that topic, which can take a while. And I would like to avoid groups falling behind. And therefore, seeing that in the current status, how it has been mentioned, that it is for in the future, you want to avoid a law being verouderd, as they say, I don't know the English word at this moment. So therefore, I believe that how it has been mentioned in the memorie van toelichting of this law, I'm not seeing no issue in supporting this law, because yes, the central bank mentioned it can fit in another law. They didn't say, no, I do not see that it shouldn't be accepted in the current form. I didn't read it like that. And therefore, I, Shamira Roseberg, will support this amendment.
Thank you, MP Roseberg. I see MP Westcott-Williams would like the floor. MP Westcott-Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I totally agree with the previous speaker in terms of the right of every member of parliament to judge what is before them based on their own sentiments, legal and otherwise, as well as the proposal before them. And in this particular case, I will await and hold the minister to the statement that the law that regulates this digitalization where financial institutions are concerned across the board. And mind you, Mr. Chairman, I remind you of the statement by the minister in this regard that was actually is either at or on its way to Parliament. So that means that probably tomorrow or the next day, this draft law on digitalization will be here for our debate. I will await debating this particular topic when the complete law is here at Parliament, and not put it, as the central bank has indicated, whether you agree with them or not, that this is not where it belongs. The topic is correct, but not where it belongs. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Westcott-Williams. I see MP Arian would like the floor. MP Arian, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, when I look at the current law that's before us, the basic bank account law, this process started in, I believe, 2020, 2021, maybe. And it was brought to Parliament in 2023. We are now in 2026. So when I hear members of Parliament saying that they're going to wait on the legislation, I don't know how long they're going to wait while people are going to suffer, while, again, the government's position is, and for sure, I'm not talking about the government anymore. My position is, I want the country to proceed digitally. We see what happened around the world. I want to do this now. And I believe, as was mentioned prior, that this legislation does not affect anything else. It puts the basic bank account holders in the modern age and actually puts the island forward. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Arian. I see MP Lewis would like the floor. MP Lewis, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will be brief. You're seeing how things going on right now with this government. Things might be shaky, so I can't wait any longer, because I don't know if I'll be able to vote on this matter in coming back into Parliament. So I'll be voting for this motion, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Amendment, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Lewis. I see MP Duran would like the floor. MP Duran, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. Mr. Chairman, as was mentioned a couple of days ago, Luc Mercelina, the Prime Minister of St. Martin, is driving the island's digital transformation. His government launched the Digital Government Transformation Project. This started with Prime Minister Jacobs at the time, and it's always been a trajectory. We always talk, and don't walk. Mr. Chairman, as my colleague just mentioned, I'll go a little bit different. If we have to wait 30 years for things to get done in this country, then I think that my children, your children, our children will continue to suffer because we're not moving forward. We have to put our money where our mouth is, make decisions when it's time to make decisions, as my colleague MP Roseworth mentioned. If this is an inclination or a point that is coming in the next law, then we will have enough time to make that other law better. It's just a reinforcement of what is there already. So therefore, the excuses about left or right, and everybody have their right to vote how they want, because at the end of the day, we are put here by the people and we have our own conscience, and everybody have the right to vote how they feel, so I'm not knocking anybody. But what kills me, Mr. Chairman, is that those that have been there for so long try to knock something new that is coming, and I find that quite unfortunate. But at the end of the day, one thing is for sure, the next generation have more time than me. I will continue to pave the road to make their life more easier, and therefore I can never go against something like this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MP Duran. Also, for clarity's sake, to the members of Parliament, Parliament did receive about 4 documents pertaining to CBCS, but it's still being under review to see exactly which documents it is. So it could be that this law that the minister said is on its way or has arrived, actually has arrived. So there'll be more clarity on that. Yeah, thank you, members, and we now go over to the voting. Start with number 14. We go over to number 10. Can the clerk please read out the names of the members?
MP Omar Atli. MP Shamira Roseberg.
For.
MP Sarah Westcott Williams.
Against.
MP Darrell York.
For.
MP Egbert Duran.
For.
MP Artwell Irian.
For.
MP Veronica Janssen Webster.
Against.
MP Viren Kotai.
For.
MP Dimar Labega. For. MP Francisco La Cruz.
For.
MP Lyndon Lewis.
For.
MP Franklin Myers.
Against.
Chairman Christopher Waver.
Against. Based on the results of the voting, we have 9 votes for, 4 votes against. This amendment is accepted. We now go over to our last amendment, which is amendment from MP Irian on the IS 540 regarding the sharpening of certain articles and a reporting obligation. Is there a need for hoofdelijke stemming? I see there's no need for hoofdelijke stemming, and therefore the amendment is accepted unanimously. Amendment accepted. According to Article 57 of the Rules of Order, we now go over to the voting on the draft national ordinance containing rules regarding a basic payment account for consumers, National Ordinance Basic Account, Parliamentary Year 2023-2024-174 on the IS 294-2023-2024, dated December 20th, 2023. We will vote on Articles 1 to 8, the title, consideration the draft in its entirety as modified by the memorandum of modification and the amendments. The amendments from MP Westcott Williams and the 2 amendments from MP Irian. Does any member request hoofdelijke stemming? No, just to clarify, the draft national ordinance will include the amendments that were just approved by Parliament. So that's why I said the one that passed from MP Westcott Williams and the 2 from, to be included to the overall draft national ordinance. Yeah? Yeah, I'll allow MP Westcott Williams. MP Westcott Williams, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, are we in the hoofdelijke stemming question on the 2nd amendment? That's where, or you went straight over, it was accepted at? It was accepted unanimously. Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. We hereby adjourn for 1 minute to ensure that the documents are in order. Meeting adjourned. Morning and welcome back. We were at the stage where we are going to vote on the draft national ordinance containing the rules regarding a basic payment account for consumers. And does any member request hoofdelijke stemming? I see there's a need. We now go over to the voting on, right? We start with the number. Oh, yes. Is there any members that would like to motivate their vote? I see MP Westcott-Williams. MP Westcott-Williams, you have the floor.
Mr. Chairman, in connection with this law that is finally before us now for voting, it would be remiss of me not to refer back to something that had me puzzled when it was stated. And anytime something puzzles me, I try to get to the bottom of it. A member of parliament regarding an amendment to this law that we shall be voting on mentioned that my amendment was criticized by the Central Bank of Curaçao and St. Martin. And in fact, a passage was read to be from the Central Bank on my Sarah Westcott Williams amendment to this draft law. Mr. Chairman, nothing could be further from the truth. What happened in this case, and the members who echoed the sentiments should be made aware of the fact that what happened in essence was that the proposed amendment by Sarah Westcott was taken by the other member who had an amendment, and that one from his hand was sent to the central bank. No wonder I could not find this so-called reaction on my specific amendment. I think it needs to be clarified what happened there, because it had me confused. But now I got to the bottom of it, and that is the truth. So I look forward to the voting on the law itself finally, as well as the next one to come to Parliament regarding overall digitalization of financial institutions. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, MP Westcott-Williams. I see MP Duran would like the floor. MP Duran, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I want to just make one thing clear. Mr. Chairman, when I stood there and I did the interruption, you mentioned that the round was over. The Minister of Finance, we could rewind this video, we didn't even have to go months back in the past. The Minister of Finance mentioned that the central bank is in agreement with the amendment from MP Westcott-Williams. When I asked the Minister to please provide that advice, because that is not what I read. What I did was I compared the notes from my colleague MP Irion and the notes from MP Westcott-Williams, and I read the advice based on that. So if you want to go into the intricacies of my amendment with my name was not sent, I'm talking about the content. When the minister mentioned that the central bank agrees with the content from MP Westcott, I asked so that could be provided and clarity could be given. So we could do wordplay here, wordplay there. The fact stays the facts. And this could be published so that people could read it for themselves and could rewind this video as well. Thank you very much for the opportunity to motivate and also give clarity why I would be supporting this law.
Thank you, MP Duran. I see MP Roseburg would like the floor. MP Roseburg, you have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. Seeing that it's about motivating your vote, I would like to say the following. Having a bank account, I believe nowadays is something that you cannot live without. Having a basic bank account, I'm happy to see that once this law hopefully will be passed, that everyone in the community can enjoy a bank account, because how can you live without one? So therefore, I'm happy that we're finally here. It started when I wasn't a member of parliament as yet, and now I'm happy that I can contribute towards hopefully making sure, and I have the hope that the members will be supporting this law, because the ones that were in government started it, and now a new group that is in government brought it, and now we all can make sure that it moves forward on behalf of the people of St. Martin. And then in the future, when other laws and our amendments to those laws will be brought, we can even make it better for all the people of St. Martin, and I think that should be the focus here today. And therefore, I, Shamira Rosenberg, will be supporting this law, including its amendments. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, MP Roseberg. I see MP Otley would like the floor. MP Otley, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, as a member of opposition, my job is to hold the government accountable, as a member of parliament, actually. And I would say that this law had a lot of deliberation, and it would have my support and also the support of my colleague on behalf of United People's Party. We have seen this law play hot potato. We have seen many faces attached to this law. The United People's Party, we have seen the National Alliance, which was submitted by the then Minister of Finance, and it's brought today by the Democratic Party. Again, if it's good for the people, it's good for me. I will not play politics with this law. You have my support, Minister of Finance. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Otley. I see MP Irian would like the floor. MP Irian, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. To further clarify what was mentioned prior by MP Westcott and MP Duran, just to make it even clearer, I think MP Duran did a good part on explaining where the confusion came from and be even more clearer. So a memo was submitted by myself, and feedback was given by the central bank. Based on that feedback, MP Westcott sent an amendment, and because sent an amendment, when we got the feedback from the minister and questions were posed, I realized, hey, and MP Duran also asked questions then, and said, we realized then only one individual or one party's amendments are being sent to the central bank. So yes, we incorporated everything because we knew there was no feedback going to be given. And yes, we got feedback on the part of MP Westcott's that was implemented and that was then removed. So yes, the feedback given by the central bank, and as MP Duran mentioned, the minister said feedback was given, and he clearly asked. So MP Westcott said she was confused. I understand why she was confused, because we didn't execute the proposal from MP Duran. The confusion could have ended there. And regarding the law itself, this law, as was mentioned before, was brought already by the previous administration. It's been in Parliament almost 2 years already, and these amendments just make the law even better, clearer, and more transparent. So I would be supporting the 2 amendments that I supported, but of course the law in general, and will be voting for. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Irian. I don't see any other MPs needing the floor at this moment, so we now go over to the voting. We start the voting with number 12. I ask the clerk to read out the names.
MP Shamira Roseberg.
For.
MP Sarah Westcott Williams.
For.
MP Darrell York.
For.
MP Egbert Duran.
For.
MP Artwell Irian.
For.
MP Veronica Jansen Webster.
For.
MP Viren Kotai. For. MP Dimar La Vega. For. MP Francisco La Cruz. For. MP Lyndon Lewis.
For.
MP Franklin Myers.
For.
MP Omar Otley.
For.
MP Rayon Peterson.
For.
Chairman Christopher Wafer.
For. Based on the voting, the draft has been accepted unanimously with 14 votes for, 0 votes against. According to Article 88, subsection 1 of the Constitution of St. Martin, Parliament shall notify the government that Parliament has approved this draft law in its public meeting today, Friday, January 9, 2026. I would like to thank the Honourable Minister of Finance, Ms. Marinka Gums, and her support staff for their presence here today and for providing the necessary information. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of this public meeting. I thank you all for your participation and hereby close this meeting. Meeting closed.